Tonight on 8 out of 10 Cats, Queen of Comedy, Joan Rivers. Pop Princess, Alexa Chung. And their team captain, Jason Manford. And facing them tonight, frankly, my dear, it's Frankie Boyle. Looking good, got one. And their team captain, Sean Locke. Now, welcome your host, Jimmy Carr.
Hello and welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats, a show about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, only 4 stuntmen have ever died during the making of a film? It was Love Actually, and they took their own lives. 31% of Britons have bathroom scales but never use them, which is a shame because bathroom scales can be a very good way to test if you're obese, especially if you're using them to weigh butter. And British men spend on average 22 minutes on foreplay. Of course, that is spread out between all of us over the course of a year. Right, let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation and they've asked the British nation what stories they've been discussing this week. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. Sean, Gock, Frankie, what have the nation been talking about?
Well, I think it has to be the transition of power, where Tony Blair has stepped down as Prime Minister and Gordon Brown has quickly gone into his shoes. I personally have done very well, incredibly well, out of Tony Blair's time, because I had the wisdom, about 10 years ago, to place a bet at Ladbrokes that his last meeting will be with Arnold Schwarzenegger, who would also be the Governor of California. And I put another bet on Brown's last meeting is with Dale Winton, who'll be the leader of Hamas.
And then Schwarzenegger sitting there, and he said, we had a wonderful fried English breakfast. Did you see that nonsense?
I did see
Well,
that.
you cannot fry steroids. So you know the man...
I watched the press conference with Brown on Wednesday, and he says, I'm going to make some changes at number 10. And I presume he means policy-wise, but I thought he should just make some changes to number 10, like getting rid of that door. It's been there years. Maybe change it into saloon style, right? Or some of those beads that they have to separate a newsagents from his house. You know those?
He should stoneclad it.
I'd like to see him slide down on a pole.
I always think Brown looks like he's just taken the head off a bear costume like that.
He's only got one eye. Well, only one of them works. If you're going to start making people in charge who've only got one eye, why not go with the legend that is Columbo? How good would he be in Prime Minister's Question Time? Just one more thing. Mr. Cameron, my wife's a great fan of yours.
I thought it was so wrong of Tony Blair to go out and say all his problems are based on his big mouth. I mean, you don't call your wife that in public.
He's been called Bush's poodle.
I know that when they do play Frisbee together. But,
Bush said, I've heard he's been called my poodle, but he's bigger than that. What, he's like a labradoodle?
Gock, you've got Gordon Brown, you've got Tony Blair. Who looks better naked?
Both mingers.
Both mingers.
But I would do Tony Blair, I have to say.
Tony, I know you got your afternoons off now.
I met him on a job once.
You met him on a job? What did you say, Gock? Are you Tony Blair?
I literally spun around and he was standing there and it was like everything went really slow and there was this big light behind him. He is sexy. He is so... Like, everyone's like, what?
He's going to be a peace envoy to the Middle East.
making that Blair. Peace envoy for the Middle East is like making Mel Gibson in charge of a Holocaust museum.
He'd certainly take an interest in the Nazi memorabilia, wouldn't he?
He might bring peace to the Middle East because he brought peace to Northern Ireland, but then he didn't bomb Belfast with uranium shells and hang Gerry Adams in a shed. That might put a bit of a dent in the Good Friday Agreement.
Well, let's have a look and see if Brown and Blair are the most talked about thing this week. Not the most talked about, but it came in second. Tony Blair handed over power to Gordon Brown. He said, "Give this to David Cameron, would you?" On Wednesday, Tony Blair finally went. At 12:30, he appeared at Prime Minister's Questions. At 1:30, he drove to his new home in Connaught Square. Then at 2:30, diagnosis murder, and 4:15, deal or no deal. Jason, Joan, Alexa, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
Oh, Spice Girls. I'm thrilled because it's the first time they've been together in years, kind of like Paris Hilton's knees, and I got very excited about that. Victoria, apparently, as she's called now. I love it when gets money. Victoria, Posh came over to our country, and she thought she was going to be so terrific, and then she found out in Beverly Hills she's fat, so she came home.
Alexa, you know your pop. How
Yeah,
old were you the first time the Spice Girls came?
11 or 12, that first year of school. Secondary school. I didn't first go to school at 11. Weird.
Girl power was a brilliant concept, wasn't it? It was like, you know, you're equal to boys, and if you're not treated equally, wear a boob tube and you'll be fine. And...
Yeah.
I love the Spice Girls, and I love what they did with the styling, but I'm a bit concerned now that what's going to happen is they're going to come back, try and recreate all of that again, but having to wear very big supportive pants now, put their knees up above their boobs and squeeze it all in. So I
Isn't
think
that what
they're
your
going to fail.
show's about?
Yes.
Putting fat women in clothes that they shouldn't wear.
It's not what it's called. Tune in next week on putting fat women in clothes they shouldn't wear.
What's her name? The one that just had the Eddie Murphy baby?
Scary.
Scary, yes.
Yeah.
And now that she's nursing, I said they should call her Dairy Spice.
It turns out it was Eddie Murphy's kid.
Well, it came out in a fat suit.
Did you hear this? They've got this machine. This digitally enhances their voices. And I'd really like to be in charge of that machine. Especially when Posh Pie steps up to the mic, just press off. She's going,
Am I the only person who's, like, really horrified by this? I mean, the only way I want to see Jerry Halliwell draped in a Union Jack again would be if she dies in battle.
Let's have a look and see if the Spice Girls is there. Yes, the Spice Girls are getting back together. Sporty, Baby, Dozy, Beaky, Mick and Titch. The Spice Girls were formed after Simon Fuller put an advert in the Stage asking, are you between 18 and 23 with the ability to sing and dance? No one answered, but on the way home, he did meet some girls at a bus stop. Sean, Gok, Frankie, what else have the world been talking about this week?
Is it the big storms and flooding? Because I know they had them in Yorkshire, but in Scotland we had, like, thunder and lightning storms, which I really enjoy, because during a storm I always shag my girlfriend and pretend that it's the conception of the Antichrist. I really hope she doesn't watch this, especially because she's pregnant.
The thing I like about the reporting of the floods is there's always someone in the high street with a canoe. My question is, where's he getting the canoe? Just nip into boots. Oh, you haven't got a canoe? Fuck you.
There's a lot of people in Yorkshire who won speedboats on Bullseye in the 80s. For years, you know, everyone thought they thought that, oh, OK, he's a right prick, he's got a speedboat, but now who's the winner,
Glastonbury was wet as well, wasn't it? It was very muddy there.
Oh, yeah.
And there was trench foot, dysentery, peaches, all the Geldof girls. Shirley Bassey, she had wellies on.
I love Shirley Bassey.
What do you mean you like Shirley Bassey?
I love Shirley Bassey.
I thought she'd be a bit camp for you.
You remind me of her, actually. There is a
Shirley
resemblance.
Bassey?
If you had some diamond-studded wellies on, I would not know the difference. It's true.
You fucking would later on. Let's see if it's one of the top 5 stories. Yes, it is. Yes, Britain was battered by torrential storms this week. A state of emergency has been declared in Hull. It was declared in 1972 and nothing's been bloody done. Hundreds of people have fled Wolverhampton. It wasn't raining, but they found an old bus and saw an opportunity for a better life. Jason, Alexa and Joan, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
Tom Cruise has been banned from Germany. He's not allowed in Germany to make this new film. I don't know, something about the Second World War, the littlest Nazi or something.
Yeah, you should be careful. He could be here. Everyone should look under their chairs. That poor wife that never speaks. Watch her eyes. She's always blinking. SOL. Help me. Help me.
And he's not allowed in because he's a Scientologist.
In Germany, Scientology is not recognised as a church. It's seen as akin to Nazism.
I got a little bit angry about it at first, and then I thought, do you know what? It's a made-up religion, and us Jedis, we do not get annoyed.
Have you considered Scientology?
It's a bollocks religion.
I'm going to educate you.
Go on.
Scientology asserts that we are descended from 13.5 trillion beings from an overpopulated corner of the galaxy who were dumped in Earth's volcanoes by an evil galactic warlord called Xenu 75 million years ago.
Ziggy played guitar. Sounds like a David Bowie lyric, doesn't it?
It's just mental. I mean, there is absolutely no logic to it whatsoever.
Yeah, but if it keeps them happy, who cares? It's when they come after you.
How do they come after you again?
Happy New Year!
It's a film. It's about a guy who apparently he's like a good Nazi.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Klaus von Stauffenberg.
Here's a piece of meat before I kill you. What's a good Nazi? The whole thing is so, insane. It's the Nazis versus the Scientologists. I never thought I'd be on the side of Hitler. I mean, it's crazy.
Is there no one so culturally different that the Americans won't just have him played by Tom Cruise? Like, he was the last samurai. I was surprised he wasn't in that fucking Muhammad Ali film. And he goes over as a samurai, right, which by definition everyone trains when they're about 5, right? He turns up aged 40 and just sort of picks it up.
Well, you're going to be a real shock when you see Finding Nemo. They talk in that. Fish. What they do in films these days is outrageous.
OK, let's have a look and see if Tom Cruise is up there. Yes, this is the story that Tom Cruise has been banned from filming in Germany because of his Scientology beliefs. So the Germans are calling Scientologists evil. That's the pot calling the kettle gay. Fingers on buzzers, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
I think it might be Wimbledon. The tennis championship's been played at Wimbledon this year. Again. Every year. What are they doing wrong?
The women's tournament, they're going to get paid the same as the lads for winning it for the first time.
Venus and Penis, whatever the hell their names are. It's like, pow! Pow! And they don't use a racket. I mean, they are...
They've banned people from wearing fancy dress because they're worried about Fathers for Justice.
They've told the security to look out for people dressed as Batman or Superman, but what if there's a proper emergency? What if something actually goes wrong and Batman turns up and he can't fucking get in? That's mental.
Batman will be able to get past a £3.20 an hour security guard, or he'll be fuck all use anyway.
Let's have a look and see if Wimbledon is there. Yes, Wimbledon started this week, or Timbledon, as it will never be known. Emlyn is thinking about getting into coaching, offering discount fares to all of England's market towns.
How come Paris Hilton wasn't in? She's been all over the place, my God.
What did you think of the Paris Hilton thing?
She's such an asshole. I mean, she deserves it.
The family were worried that going to jail would ruin her reputation. What as? A cock-sucking layabout?
They were scared she'd go on a hunger strike, so they took all her porridge and they flavoured it with sperm. And she gained 4 pounds.
Did she go, oh, this has got porridge in it?
Right, at the end of that round, I can tell you that Sean, Frankie and Gok have 3 points, Jason, Joan and Alexa have 2 points. Our next round is called Pick of the Polls. Our teams take it in turns to choose a picture from the board and then answer related statistical questions. Jason, Joan and Alexa, your turn first. What do you want to go for?
This one in the bottom corner, Jesus saves.
That picture represents Christians, and this is a poll with a whole question.
Okay.
21% of born-again Christians have what?
No friends.
I got some building work done at the beginning of the year, and it was a born-again Christian builders company. I thought I can trust them, they'll be all right. And he was doing some work in the kitchen, and he was sweating, and I went, no rest for the wicked. And without a gap, he just went, I wouldn't know, I'm one of the righteous. And just carried on, just doing stuff in.
You're going to be finished off with, you wanker.
You know, any extremists are crazy and ugly. Ugly. Oh, yes. I went to a born-again convention. You know, Jesus loves me. He said if he loved you so much, he would have given you a chin. I don't think Jesus loves you.
It was like the thing when, like, some athlete will win a gold medal and go, oh, thanks for Jesus, Jesus helped me out in this. And you think, what kind of God lets, like, Iraq happen, doesn't do anything but keeps a close eye on who wins the triple jump?
Technically, it's kind of cheating, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're using God to help you win a... It's worse than drugs. If you're in the long jump, and then you know that God's picked you up and gone, whoop, like that. It's not fair, is it?
Something to do with a very petty crime.
Have murdered.
It's to do with music. That's my final clue.
Have stolen CDs.
I'll give you that, Joan. It's actually illegally downloaded music. Yes, 21% of born-again Christians have illegally downloaded music. I've not found Jesus, but then I think he should try and find me. He's omnipotent, I'm on telly. Come on, Jesus. How tough's that? OK, Sean's team, what do you want to go for?
I'd like the one of Madonna with her head coming out of a dwarf's buttocks.
You've chosen a one-upmanship question. In a poll to find out the celebrity Brits would most like to swap houses with, Madonna came second. Who came top?
I watch Through the Keyhole when I get the opportunity. It
you
always
do.
seems to be Rusty Lee. The big laughing cook. And she's got quite a nice house, you know. Is it Rusty Lee? No.
You are devilishly close, Sean.
Really?
Have they done Madonna?
Have they done Madonna Through the Keyhole?
Who would live in a house with all these stolen children?
She didn't steal them, she adopted them. What celebrity's house do you want to live in?
I'd swap with Jamie Oliver, because he's a dick, right? And it only says I have to swap. He'd still have to live with my mum and dad. And they would fucking hate him. He's always spitting when he's cooking. I'm chopping the fucking thing. Like,
Say it, don't
he's
spray it.
spitting, man.
Well, I can tell you, you're absolutely right. Right? Yes, the celebrity Brits would most like to swap houses with is Jamie Oliver. I'd like to swap houses with Jamie Oliver because I live in a soundproof box 2 miles underground. So at the end of that round, it's 3 points for Sean's team and 4 points to Jason's team. The next round is Believe It or Not. In this round, I'll give the panellists a simple statement. All they have to do is decide whether they think it's true or false. Let's have a look at a clip to illustrate the statistic.
నేపాళీ మంత్రమిస్తే ఏమవుతావో పుట్టంగానే మట్టైపోయే చల్లారేదట్టగో ఇప్పుడు
That was Michael Jackson's Thriller. It hasn't dated well, has it? Here's your related statistic. More Americans own a Thriller CD than own a passport. Is that true or false?
I would think that more Americans would own a copy of Thriller than own a passport because we love souvenirs. And that's the last time you'll ever see Michael Jackson black.
That's the ironic thing, isn't it? Because if he used the picture from Thriller on his passport, nobody'd let him in the country. You're like, well, you don't look like that, do you, honky boy?
I'm pretty sure at passport control they're not allowed to say honky boy.
I sort of believe that, but then I believe that more Americans own a rifle than own a spoon.
Americans have got this crazy idea that people don't like them. And the rest of them.
Well, nobody likes the hand that feeds you, you know, and we take care of the world to a point.
Yeah, basically we take care of the world, yeah. That seems to have launched something. I'll take care of that.
We also saved a lot of lives in World War II by pressing that button.
Yeah, 3 years fucking late. I don't want to go on about it. Are you a fan of the Michael Jackson?
I'm a very close friend of his still.
Still?
Still.
You've stuck with him?
Well, to a point. My grandson is growing up, so we won't see him for a couple of years. But, we used to exchange gifts. I mean, we're that close. And every Christmas, I would give him hankies. And then one year, I realized this is stupid. He has no nose. So,
OK, more Americans own a Thriller CD than a passport. True or false? What are you going to go with, Sean?
I think it's false.
What are you going to go for?
absolutely true.
I'm going to go with that. True.
Well, I can tell you the answer is false. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, 23% of Americans have a passport. Only 9% own a copy of the Thriller album. The Thriller video does have amazing special effects. In one bit, Michael Jackson looks black and kisses a girl. So at the end of that round, it's 4 points for Sean's team and 4 points for Jason's team. And the winner is the name of our final round. Who's your first one? Grandparents' most annoying habit.
Turning up in a porno film.
You haven't.
Wetting themselves.
Is it dying just as you become addicted to their heart tablets?
My granddad had narcolepsy. He'd fall asleep all the time, and when we were kids, me and my brother would wait for him to fall asleep on the couch and then go upstairs, get changed, and then pretend he'd missed the day. Wednesday night.
My granddad used to drive a black cab, and he used to say to me, yeah, I drove a cab through the Blitz. And I always say to him, yeah, it's great, Grandad, but I'd be a lot prouder if it had been a tank. And I thought, who's hailing a cab during a bombing raid?
Oh, it's when they go to, like, do you have Costco here where you can buy in bulk?
Oh, we have, yeah,
And
we
they're
have cash and
85
carry.
years
Yeah.
old, and they're buying 18 jars of mayonnaise, and you're going to go, why? You're not going to make it through the checkout counter.
I'm going to tell you the answer. Grandparents' most annoying habit is they use emotional blackmail to make you visit them. I would visit my gran more, but I can't remember where we left her. OK. Worst fashion mistake for men.
Mobile phones on belts. Absolutely 100% the worst is when people walk around with a mobile phone on their belt and they're not an electrician.
Short shorts and low testicles.
When a bit of brain comes out the side of a bikini bottom. That is a low.
Is it like a blue corduroy suit and like a green and blue stripy shirt with bits of cream, like there, and like your hair combed over like to one side, like the 40s?
Yeah.
That.
Especially when you've got a face like a pumpkin.
What do you think of Frankie and Sean's outfits? I say outfits, it's just their clothes, really.
Outfit. Yeah, go for us. Tear us, rip us to shreds.
I think you both look very attractive, and I'm very looking forward to going in the green room later.
Well, I think we look like a shop window at Specsavers, don't we?
Got classic, but socks and sandals.
Correct.
Yeah. That was so obvious.
Yes, I can tell you the worst fashion mistake for men is socks with sandals. As a fashion statement, socks with sandals says I'm either a teacher, a German, or a Surely the worst fashion mistake was shooting Gianni Versace in the face. Well, that sound tells me it's the end of the round and the end of the show, which means the final scores are Jason, Joan and Alexa have 4 points, Sean, Frankie and Gok are the winners with 5 points. Thanks to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience and to all of you for watching at home. That's it from us. Good night.
On 8 out of 10 Cats, new ball, it's Greg Rosetsky. Talk of the North, Alan Cochran. Their team captain, Sean Locke. And facing them tonight, daytime dame, Trisha Goddard. Comedy Canuck, Glenn Wool. And their team captain, Jason Manford. Now, welcome your host, Jimmy Carr.
Hello and welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats, a show about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, sleeping through the alarm is the #1 reason for being late for work? It's particularly bad if you're a fireman. British people are at least 1 inch taller than they were 20 years ago. That's because 20 years ago, we were all children. And 97% of all dangerous driving offences are committed by men, which means 3% are committed by bloody women drivers. Let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation and they've asked the British nation what stories they've been discussing this week. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. Jason, Tricia and Glenn, what have the nation been talking about this week?
Is it Diana? It's a big concert that happened on Sunday, which was rubbish, but strangely addictive, that you just couldn't turn off. It was real car crash telly. It was...
They're making their own jokes now. That was never meant.
My favourite bit was Mark Owen from Take That coming on stage and going, "Happy birthday, Diana!" Going, well, it's not probably one of her happiest, I'll be honest with you.
One of those things where Canadians get accused in Britain of being quite bland and boring, and you managed to wrestle the title quite spectacularly by putting on that pile of shit.
Was it P. Diddy, whatever he's called now?
Puffy.
Philip, it stands for Philip.
Yeah.
Philip Diddy. Philip Diddy, that's what other people call him.
At one point he said, make some noise if you miss Diana, right? And everyone cheered. They went, "Yay!" I was thinking, that's not the noise they should have made. The noise they should have made was like pining like a dog, like, oh, 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 oh. Scratching the back of their chairs, like that.
I missed the entire concert because I went to the pub with 100 Diana lookalikes that haven't worked for 10 years. I just thought they needed cheered up. I gutted those girls.
I'll tell you who you look like.
Oh, here we go.
You look like Shaggy and Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
People say I look like a fat Michael Owen. So, at least yours is a bit of a... Yours is a cartoon. I know, yeah, laugh it up. I live with this face. That's right.
I like the way Harry gave a shout-out to his troop in Iraq. Sorry I couldn't be there, boys. I wanted to, but been booking ballerinas.
I saw the concert and I would have rather gone to Iraq.
They should have got Cilla Black and just flew in a big copter at the end and gone, "Harry, you wanted to be there, you can be!"
Did you go, Greg?
No, I missed it, but I managed to see Macker and Becker look like two leather-clad men introducing the acts.
I must have missed that bit while I was being sick in the garden.
He had a leather cap on, didn't he? Boris
Yeah,
Becker.
a leather cap.
Nice little leather cap.
And a Batman belt.
Because he's in Fathers for Justice, but he's not that committed.
Exactly.
No, I'd like to see the kid again, but, you know, I did just fuck a waitress in a...
It wasn't his, come on. He denied it in the beginning.
He denied it in the beginning. When it popped out, there was no denying it.
He didn't even have a DNA test. He just saw it with ginger hair and went, all right, fair enough. Was you invited, Tricia?
No.
Jeremy Kyle was there. That's what I'm saying. I think he might have got your invite. I saw Jeremy Kyle in a
Yeah,
pub.
you always watch, don't you?
I think he's brilliant. Some of my family are on it. And I saw him. He was in a pub in Manchester, and he was just sat by himself. But his phone went, and he picked it up, and he went, "Hello, what? Fuck off! Fuck off! Fuck off! Leave that fucking orange juice! Fuck off!" Like, he was the most rudest person I've ever met in my life. So I punched him in the face.
Right, let's have a look and see whether the Diana concert is up there. Yes, it is. Third most talked about thing this week. Apparently, Duran Duran performed at Diana's memorial concert as it's what she would have wanted. I'm not sure she would have wanted a memorial concert at all. Sean, Greg, Alan, what else have the nation been talking about?
Wimbledon in the rain.
People are saying it's been the worst Wimbledon ever.
It's been the worst in 25 years. It's just been on, off, so I'd have to agree.
You're just saying that because you're not there?
Probably. A little bit of ego going on there.
The thing I like about the tennis is the pun headlines on Wimbledon you get. So, like, if Tim Henman's won a couple of matches, it's Timbledon. and if there's lots of rain, it's Swimbledon. There's lots of arguments, it's Grumbledon. They're just constantly coming up with any pun that they can work in with Wimbledon. Like, if it's hot, I don't know, Wimble hot.
You sure you don't work for one of those newspapers?
Yeah. They're dying for, like, a nun to walk past. They go, Wimbledon.
I'm a fan of Rafael Nadal because he's got massive arms.
Almost the same as yours, huh?
A bit like mine.
Yeah, check out Alan's guns. Wow.
But he's huge, and it seems weird because you'd think that he'd only have one huge arm because he's only hitting it with one hand.
Have you got one big arm?
Still got one big arm.
Which one is it?
Don't look down like that.
He's got long arms. And do you have to do certain things? Do you have to go, right, I mustn't use that arm for this bit because it's too strong? Like if you were going to stroke a cat or something with your big arm and you go, oh, crushed it! I should have used my weaker stroking arm. A bit like chicken.
Oh, you're going to say fish for a second.
Don't touch him with that arm.
There was a photo in the paper of some ducklings on one of the courts the other day.
Wimbleduck.
It might well have been Wimbledon in the paper, actually. I think if you're a little yellow duckling, a little bit risky, that. Maybe if you're thinking about the game, you could easily just bend down and pick one of them up and twat it.
OK, let's have a look and see if Wimbledon's up there. Yes, of course it is. Yes, Wimbledon's been in the news. At Wimbledon, Henman has Henman Hill, named after him. Murray has Murray Mound, and Greg's got a baker's opposite the station. Jason, Tricia, Glenn, what else have the country been talking about this week?
Terrorists driving into Glasgow airport.
Yeah, the most violent incident in Glasgow that day.
Yeah.
I'm joking, not even close.
What about the luggage handler, the
The
hero?
luggage handler, he was amazing. Do you want to see a clip of this fella?
Yeah.
John Smeaton, he's a Glasgow hero. Have a look at him.
I ran straight down. Other members of the public at the same time have done the exact same thing as me. We've all ran towards the guy. We've all tried to get a kick in at him, get a bit. Just subdue the guy, get him down.
Yeah. He kicked him twice, thrown him as hard as he could against a wall, yeah, and then punched him about 5 times before he realised it wasn't a suitcase.
He's like a Scottish Jack Bauer, that fellow, isn't he? That'd be
That's what they're
I think they
saying,
should do
isn't
the
it?
next
24.
series of 24 in Scotland. That'd be brilliant. Just beep, beep, beep. The following takes place between 8 and 9. They say it took him 6 months to organise. You think, and at the end of that, your best plan was to set fire to your car and drive it through the front doors of an airport.
I think the problem is our terrorists are now being trained by Brainiac on Sky One. They're just watching that and picking up what they can.
There's been like 3 terrorist attempts in a row, and none of them have worked. And if I was like a terrorist that believed in a god that controlled everything, I'd have to start to think maybe Allah likes Britain.
Let's have a look and see if the terror attacks are up there. Yes, Britain is on terror alert after attacks in London and Glasgow. There were 2 doctors on the scene almost immediately. Unfortunately, one of them was on fire and the other one was trying to blow himself up. Sean, what else has the nation been talking about this week?
Obviously, the outrageous abuse of our civil liberties, where we can't smoke in pubs anymore. It's outrageous. I object to it very, very strongly, mostly because I'm a smoker. I'm actually very, very hurt and upset by it.
Has giving up smoking affected you in any way, Sean?
No, because I haven't.
You don't smoke, do you, Greg?
No, I don't.
No.
Henman does, though, doesn't he?
There's a rumour going around.
I've heard that Henman smokes, but I think he doesn't. He's just doing it in a really desperate bid to be slightly interesting. I reckon he hates it. He's like, oh, it's horrible.
What, whether he smokes or not, there's no way he smokes like that.
I don't object to the idea of the ban. What I object to is the fines. They can ban it, but don't fine us as well. That's outrageous.
Why?
Just trust me. I might have the odd one. You're not going to fine me as well. What I object to is also certain groups have dispensations, don't they? Like you can smoke
Care
in prison.
homes.
Yeah, and also magicians, don't they? Because they can go.
I don't smoke, but I don't drink either, so I don't spend a lot of time in pubs.
What do you do?
I visit whores. I don't go in pubs, but now all the smokers have come out on the streets, and now the streets are really smoky. You can't walk anywhere. I've got to walk into a pub to get a bit of fresh air. It's got to wind me up.
But the other thing is you'd find all your whores on the streets.
Actually, that was a joke. I've never visited one.
I like the way you say visited, like, I brought some biscuits. I bought you the Radio Times. Didn't know you like that.
I can only stay half an hour, OK?
Well, let's have a look and see whether smoking is in the top 5 most talked about things this week. Number 1. The most talked about thing this week, yeah. Britain's smoking ban came into force last weekend. There's a new patch for smokers. It's a bit of pavement outside the pub. OK, fingers on buzzers. One more thing to get. What else are the nation be talking about?
The BBC correspondent, Alan Johnson, who has had a shave. He's been released. He was kidnapped and he's been let out. They let him go.
He said that he was in a dark hole, that the food made him ill and that they were rude. It just sounds like he was in Butlins for 2 weeks.
I read the report and it said that they gave him Palestinian food for the first week, and then after that they gave him cheese and eggs.
You have to respect him, though, because, you know, he's in a foreign country, he complained about the food. Most British people wouldn't even complain in a restaurant, let alone when someone's got a Kalashnikov. He's got a lot of front, hasn't he?
When you're chained to a radiator to go, this is...
Bit too much basil.
Let's have a look and see if Alan Johnston is up there. Yes, this is the story that BBC correspondent Alan Johnston has been freed. Alan Johnston was a little bit disappointed on being released that he wasn't met by Davina McCall. At the end of that round, I can tell you that Sean's team have 3 points, Jason's team have 2 points. Our next round is called Pick of the Polls. Our teams choose a picture and then they have to answer a question based on a related statistic or survey. Sean, Greg and Alan, what picture do you want to go for?
Sure. I'll go for Big Daddy.
You're going for Big Daddy. OK, this picture represents dads and it's a word association question. So I'm looking for the top word or phrase the public said when we said dads.
Oh, it's pain, isn't it? Unnecessary pain.
Oh, Sean.
Are you a dad, Sean?
Yes, I am, yeah.
You don't sound very happy about it.
Yeah. Well,
Are you on the birth certificate?
Yeah, of course I am.
You know the people Trisha normally meets, don't you?
You've asked that question before, haven't you?
Are you a dad, Alan?
No, I'm going to be, though.
Just as soon as you meet the right woman.
They don't call me Shaggy for nothing.
So this is baby number 1?
Yeah.
You're going to get a better name than that, though, surely.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking, because from now on it's no sex, no time together, no attention.
Are you offering him a little bit on the side? From now on you won't be getting any at home.
She won't even know you're gone.
Jeez!
It's a nice offer, but I think I'm out of your league.
Top word or phrase associated with dads.
Hard-working or...?
Hard-working? You're having a laugh. Almost exactly right.
Lazy.
Lazy is exactly right, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, the word most associated with dads is lazy. A spokesman for Lazy Dad said, "Oh, in a minute." Jason, your team? What do you want to go for?
We're going to go with the dart player.
We're going to go for Andy Forden, the dart player. This is a nation's favourite question. What does the British public prefer, darts or Shakespeare?
Do you think he's holding that during a game? Yeah, that'd be quite dangerous. Makes darts a lot more exciting. Imagine if it hit one of his arms, he'd just burst.
And sometimes when Andy Fordham lifts his arm like that, it's so big and greasy, it does look like a kebab shop window.
Come on, these are great athletes you're talking about here.
Yeah.
Great athlete.
Well, that's a British tennis player saying that, so...
I think Shakespeare is shit. So, I don't mind a couple of the, you know, the Romeo and Juliet type things, not bad, but he's rubbish at comedy, isn't he? He's not funny.
Well, he was back then.
Was he yet? They all went, yeah, all right, Willie, very funny, that, yeah. Well
But
done.
do you think in 200 years people will find you funny?
I don't think that many people find us funny now. When I was at university, we spent 6 weeks...
Did you go to university?
I did go to university, yeah.
What did you study?
I studied...
Northern Studies.
Northern Studies, yeah. Media and performance, I did. At,
Wheel tapping.
Salford.
Which university was it?
It was Salford University.
Did it used to be a polytechnic or a garage?
It's... I did a bit of drama there, and we studied Shakespeare, and it was hard in that sort of area of Manchester. It's quite rough, you know, and there was a lot of, like, is this a dagger I see before me? Yeah, give me your trainers. You know, it was hard to get through.
I can't imagine you acting there.
You can't imagine me what?
I can't imagine you acting.
Oh, God, I can't.
What do the nation prefer, Shakespeare or darts?
I think people prefer Shakespeare.
OK.
I think darts.
I can tell you darts won. 51% of the population prefers darts. Is that a dagger I see before me? No, it's a dart. So at the end of that round, it's 3 points for Sean, Alan and Greg, and 4 points for Jason, Tricia and Glenn. The next round is Believe It or Not. In this round, I give the panellists a simple statement. All they have to do is decide whether they think it's true or false. Let's have a look at a clip to illustrate your statistic.
Because car boot sellers are deemed to be private individuals and not traders, there's no protection for the buyer.
We secretly filmed our purchases at the next car boot.
15 quid.
And took along electrical expert Tony Cuthbert.
Tony, would you say this was lethal?
Yes.
We've had it looked at by an expert. It's potentially lethal. It's very badly worn. That's right. All right, that's potentially lethal. Turn that off, because I'll smash it in bits. Why would you smash it in seconds? This is lethal. This is lethal. There's no anchor for the wire. It can be pulled out. I know that. Why do you think it's told second-hand? You have a responsibility to the public, don't you? To the people. No, I don't have a responsibility to anybody. You don't have a responsibility to anybody? Only to myself. So it's up to the person to check out whether this is dangerous. Well, I would have thought so. That's not what happens in shops, you know. That's not what happens in shops. I'm not a shop. It's second-hand rubbish.
He's just selling stuff at a car boot sale. Leave him alone.
Yeah, completely with him the whole way through it.
Totally with him, yeah. The other thing is the bloke goes, it's potentially lethal, this drill. So are all drills. There is a question. 34% of Brits would prefer a trip to a car boot sale than a theme park. Do you think that's true or false?
True.
False. There we go. Let's crack on.
OK.
The reason people like car boots is because they can haggle the price of stuff. You can't do that in a theme park. It's £5 to get on the ride. I'll give you 3 quid. All right, you're not allowed to use the belt.
Whenever I see a Ferris wheel, I do think the Millennium Wheel is clearly the best one.
It's so slow, though.
Well, if you scream louder, it goes faster. Did you not realise that was the system?
No.
Call them a pikey, they go mental with it.
Patricia, the wheel, it's supposed to be a delightful journey with a view across London.
But it's usually foggy or raining, so you can't see anything.
Oh, no, go when it's sunny.
Are you writing any of this down, Tricia?
Have you ever been to Alton Towers? They've done well. They've started to run out of names of big roller coasters. So the previous few have been like Nemesis, Oblivion, and then one at the moment's called Rita.
I don't like those teacups. I actually got beaten up in one once.
So, you got beaten up in a teacup?
Rides. Right. I was in this teacup rides, and someone punched me in the mouth.
You suffered the gayest ever assault?
Yeah.
I was in the teacup, officer, and this brute hit me. And I was just spinning gently. I was having a wonderful time.
I got punched. It was mistaken identity.
Why?
They thought I was someone else.
OK, so true or false, 34% of Brits would prefer a trip to a car boot sale than a theme park. True or false? Sean?
True.
True. Both going for true. Well, I can tell you the answer is true. 34% of Brits would prefer a car boot sale to a theme park. So at the end of that round, I can tell you it's 4 points to Sean's team and 5 points to Jason's team. And the winner is the name of our final round. OK, first one, most dangerous sport.
Is it any sport that's played in the vicinity of Alby City?
Greg, is tennis dangerous?
No.
Well, you hit it really hard, don't you?
Yeah, but you got to remember, the ball's soft, so it's not going to hurt you too
It's
badly.
not that soft. Yeah, it's not like a sponge ball and plastic rackets like at school. What about doubles, though? Have you ever hit somebody on the back of the head when playing doubles?
Yeah, I did that once.
Who was it?
Wasn't it? It was Henman. You hate Henman.
Go on.
Is it five-a-side archery?
The ones that do my head in are the old people. You know, when you see them on local news and it's like, oh, now we're going to cut to Ernest. He's 89 today and he's about to do his first skydive. Fuck off, Ernest. You're 89, sit in a chair and wait to die. That's what you're for.
It's kind of a posh sport.
Polo.
Rugby?
Rugby is exactly
Rugby.
right.
Rugby.
Yes, I can tell you the most dangerous sport is rugby. Rugby was invented at public school when some boys were playing football and thought, this isn't gay enough. Brit's biggest regret?
Shaving all her hair off.
Was it not letting Harry go to Iraq?
Winning the football thing.
World Cup.
World Cup, we did win it. We haven't stopped going on about it.
Remember when you were about 15, we won it?
Is it the repeal of the Corn Laws?
Ooh, 1832.
That was stupid. That was crazy. Because they were good, those Corn Laws.
What, sorry?
1847, nice call.
Was it 1847? Surely it was 32.
That was the Reform Act.
What do you think it's going to be like to sleep with a girl? Good knowledge, though. Brit's biggest regret?
Trisha.
But I'll give you a clue. It involves your partner.
And when he murdered them and buried them.
Not
To do
getting
with
enough
sex.
sex.
Oh, losing the...
That's the right answer. Not getting enough sex. Well, that sound tells me it's the end of the round and the end of the show, which means the final scores are Sean, Alan and Greg have 4 points, Jason, Trisha and Glenn have 7 points. They're the winners tonight. Well, thanks to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience, and to all of you for watching at home. That's it from us. Good night.